Sorry, guys. I mean, I really was trying to do my best here, but Tom sort of just strong-armed both me and Kresnik out of there. They sort of bullied us out of the commentators booth. So now we're here on the desk. Me, of course, Fawn, and Kresnik both here, existing.
Yeah, glad to be here. I mean, all I've been doing my whole life is existing, so glad to do it at least somewhere where I might be able to help out. And we're switching over from EU to NA, and should be some good games, I think, today. This one, I'm definitely excited to see how FiveStack want to bring it to Hype Unit, how they decide to adapt, because I think they've done some interesting things so far, but we have a pretty good day, I think, ahead of us for NA, so ahead of us.
Right, yeah, exactly. We're going to get a look into the NA standings, of course. We're already done with Euros, but let's take a look and see what's going on with NA. Hype Unit, of course, 5-0. Sanguine, 3-2. Exile, 1-4. And FiveStack Esports, 1-4. This is going to be interesting. FiveStack versus Hype Unit. Of course, Hype Unit undefeated, and they're not 5-0. They're actually, I believe, 6-0 now at this current point in time.
I don't know. They should be 5-0 after the bye.
Console.
Yeah.
Console.
Yeah, they're 5-0. They're 5-0 after the bye. So
yeah.
Still, they're a team that finally got their first 3-0 victory. They kind of had a lot of problems closing out a set without dropping a few maps to some teams that people might think they wouldn't be contested as much with, but they finally managed to cross that gap against Sanguine last week. So maybe a little revitalized, I think, for Hype Unit.
Yeah.
Weird to say that they would be revitalized after not losing, but still, they've revitalized in their own minds of finally getting over that hump, and that's a lot harder than some people think it will be.
Exactly, yeah, the bye week, of course, playing a huge role in how some of these players actually have to approach these matchups, and of course, how we're going to see not only the meta shift, but see a few changes here and there. Hype Unit, like you said, it's a little bit weird to think that a team needs to be revitalized after having no losses, but in this case, I feel like it's perfectly fine, because of course you have to be ready to come into this matchup, even if you are fighting the last seed currently, doesn't mean you take them lightly at all.
I mean, all these teams have looked competitive. FiveStack, though, they got to strike back after last week, I think, after losing to Exile, giving them their first win. They have to figure something out. I mean, they are the LATAM team here. They have some interesting strategies. I think some of their players have been really well. Matoriu's one that on the support that stood out to me. So, want to see how they decide to do it, and we can find out where we're going to be going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to see what type of map it is that we're going to be currently going into. However, the thing is that, or at least the map bands, I should say, we're going to be going into. We have Frog Isle, Timber Mill off the board, Shatter Desert, and Ice Mines are all gone, which kind of sucks for me personally, because I really do like seeing Ice Mines a lot. I do like seeing it because you see characters that you don't normally see.
Those are words I haven't heard in a sentence together very often.
Really?
Hearing Ice Mines. Well, recently it's been a little better. Some people didn't really like how slow paced it was, but it is very explosive. That's one part about it. But they didn't want to play it this time. Almost a mirror of bands, I think, from our first set. Can't see where we're going to go, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to see where we're going to go in game one. Bribe Marsh is where we're going. We have seen that before. Of course, a map that you see extremely often. You see that people like to use this map to be able to sort of gain that momentum shift. It is a very tiny map, a pretty smaller, on the smaller side of the maps. And you see people trying to use that aggression with using those blasters like Willow. Of course, we've seen Grok 2 times today, both on I was about to call it Grok Marsh.
Close enough.
Yeah, both on Brian Marsh in this case. And I mean, I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring out here.
Yep, it's a map you can do quite a bit, because since it's compact, the characters that don't have great gap closers are still playable on here, and you don't really need to necessarily specifically draft around them. Looking at the bans, actually, it looks like Torv manages to get through here, so 2 flex bans, 1 from each side, Genos and Willow taken out. 2 really strong players, I think, in this meta. Ash going to Hype Unit, they want to be able to cross a lot of distance, they want to be able to put on a lot of pressure, but it does open 2 tanks up for FiveStack.
That is true, 2 tanks indeed, Barrick and Khan both being locked, 2 extremely powerful tanks as well. They have the sustainability already there, they have the shielding, and in this case is whether Hype Unit actually wants to consider a Cassie. Perfect. That's exactly what it was I was about to say. Of course, Cassie, a character that's not only good at melting tanks, but also breaking shields like crazy. Of course, Furia also being locked in this case, allowing them to be a lot more aggressive, which we've been seeing a trend of Furia today, which I'm not super opposed to, because I like seeing the really aggressive play coming out.
Teams just like the Inflame. And just being able to walk in on Inflame, it's such like a clear go button. There's a thing in some other games called the pub effect, where as a timer is counting down to 0, everyone suddenly becomes the greatest objective players in the world, because everyone's like 5. Oh, it's time to go. It's kind of what Inflame is, right? Inflame goes on, even if you're not listening to the comms, you're like, oh, well, I guess we should probably do something now. So even just syncing your team up that way, plus giving them the damage and the speed boost is huge. it's really easy to execute on, and her healing and damage, you can't ignore it either.
You
Yeah, the
trespass and are
Inara is end up
unwanted,
being locked
stranger.
in. Eevee being hovered, but more than likely going to be locked in, especially on Brightmarsh. You do have the picks coming out in this case. I mean, FiveStack already banned out Willow. That's obviously the reason as to why you don't see her, because otherwise most people would already be opting to go for the Willow. I was about to mention Drogos, but FiveStack already hovering that, potentially locking that one into.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't go Maeve instead. I feel like Maeve
Interesting.
has
Good
been
point,
a little
actually.
bit better recently, and I think she deals with the Drogos well if FiveStack do decide to go it, which they have, and they have the counter. They have the Leon. The biggest problem for Drogos to deal with on a lot of maps is on their side too, so the Drogos is going to be pretty uncontested. Eevee's going to have a hard time dealing with him. Drogos Eevee on this map in particular, I think, Worm Jets versus just Wormhole. The Worm Jets tends to win out a lot of the time. Drogos, it's so much easier to spam down than it is to spam up and go for the air shots.
Exactly, yeah. Well, both teams are locked in. Game 1 is about to be in the books, but how can we do that without giving it to our casters? Tom, take it away.
Yo, thanks a lot, Fawn. It's me and Dave on the
right.
microphones. I'll be your pilot, and Dave, you're going to provide the analysis as we travel through game number 1 of Hype Unit and FiveStack on the Brightmarsh. And as per usual, the legendary Cornbread bringing you the best observation in the building. Dave, I want to start off right away with a conversation about the map. I love this map. I think you can do a lot of different stuff. You can be weird and play snipers. You can play normal and just go right up in there. I think it opens up the door for Payan to bring out choices like the Eevee. I think it opens up the door to see some weird stuff. And then, of course, you're just going to see the Drogos as well across the map. A nice kind of even composition map.
Yeah, I agree. Both teams doing some similar things kind of in general. I mean, you'll have Edgem on the Cassie, you'll have the Leon on the opposite side playing a little further back, looking for some good poke damage. Drogo's a little more consistent as far as spreading that AoE in some of these smaller areas, but Payan absolutely potent on this Eevee. I look for him to have a pretty big impact, on this game. Should be some fun to watch.
I love that play there by Edgem. You were talking about how Cassie's going to stay back, and likely that's what we're going to see for the remainder of the match. But right away, just right up in there, shooting the shots, melee range, close quarters combat, baby. The job here from Ash and Cassie playing a little off-roll, is to push in here and get this so that Cassie can sit here and provide those shots from a distance. For now, we're tied up. FiveStack has been a little bit more active on the point, but it's Hype Unit at the moment that has control, passing the 51% of FiveStack. And now on the right side, Payan able to find that first blood. No eyes on the Eevee, just the way she likes it.
There's a huge wall in there from the Inara as well that locks in Ice Monkey. Unfortunately, not able to escape. Can't use those rocket boots to get out of that one. That's good for first blood. Now Hype Unit Tay, I look for him to continue his aggression. He's controlled this left side of the map the entire time, 90% almost for Hype Unit.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. You've seen Cassie kind of play back and forth in this spot and then rotating around. Tay finally falls down, and now this is FiveStack's opportunity to surge forward, grabbing the point, passing that 80 percentile. Now they're going to pass the opponent's position. Hype Unit stuck at 87, 96, 99, and FiveStack in overtime, trying to clear this one out. In comes the Inara. That's a great look for Hype Unit. Now looking to take advantage of this spot. They've got their heels dug in. That's the point for Hype Unit. It's 1-0.
I am scratching my head at the Dread Serpent I just saw, because it was like literally the opposite entrance from where anyone from Hype Unit was. It may have just been the way it looked, but it didn't end up catching anybody. Maybe he thought there was an Eevee blink coming from around the backside. But the Dread Serpent was in this entrance right here beneath Kuga, whereas Hype Unit were attacking from the opposite side. I'm not saying that lost the entire fight, but that's a high impact ultimate. You drop that on the point, Hype Unit can't run in there. So maybe a little bit of a misplay, but if nothing else, the ultimates from Hype Unit on the back end of it. Inflame getting there. A great Ice Storm from Payan as well. Really sealed up that mid. So a little stumble towards the end there from FiveStack, but still showing some promise. I mean, this is a 1 versus 4 matchup. Yeah. So the fact that it was that close is, I think, a good indicator of maybe a close set.
Pretty tough here for Hype Unit to get things moving. Stuck at about 1/6 of the way. FiveStack have done a great job of kind of controlling this point, better so than the interior point. And I think that has to do with the draft that they've got all together. The Drogos, even the Maldamba performs a little bit better outside. Khan has kind of been the guy here. Multiple kills, probably the only one with multiple kills here in this front line. He's really made use of that command grab to kind of keep Hype Unit at bay. But now, Hype Unit slowly pushing, gathering steam. They got a couple of good kills in tandem. Now, Damba the only one on a streak here. Everyone else has suffered a fall or a death.
And the Inflame for Hype Unit now, that's our go button. You see those flame wings pop out, that's when they're going to look to get aggressive. They drop down the Ice Storm as well. It's a good start for Hype.
Here comes the push, about a little bit more to go. The Dragon Punch comes down. The target can't find one, finally does. The Throne is a great target. Anar traditionally difficult to deal with, so pop goes the Weasel. Because the Weasel goes pop, Hype Unit stuck in the mud.
And the way you look at Dragon Punch sometimes is just a net health pool decrease. So getting it onto Inara, oftentimes you trade yourself out, but if you get rid of the front line, you might trade yourself out, but there's so much less health to deal with now for the opposite side, whereas your teammates have still some good targets.
Yeah, that math totally works out. Still pushing. FiveStack have it right on the precipice, and they're looking to hold right here. Overtime is enabled, but Hype Unit are able to push it. We're halfway done. Hype Unit certainly looking like the #1 team that they claim to be.
Right, you know, you look at Furia, and so often it's easy to forget about the offensive presence that she brings. I mean, T-Mac.
Who's that?
It's hard to look at the damage charts here because, you know, healers will generally be at the bottom.
Right.
But 10k more damage. I mean, I look at it compared to the enemy healer. He's doing 10k more damage, essentially another Inara's worth of damage in this game. He has 4 kills, and towards the end there, the Inflame was pretty spot on to set them up. The added damage from that Furia was good to confirm a kill or two, and the rest of Hype Unit really follows up on that very, very well.
You know, I will say that Damba and Furia are very different characters.
Absolutely.
Damba doesn't have to do the damage if you're finding those reload stuns, and so Furia, on the other hand, has to. But I'm right there with you because I haven't really seen setup from the Damba either. It's tough to look at the scoreboard, but it's even tougher to find the intangibles if you're watching the game, because FiveStack has not been able to put their Damba in a position to really do that. He's been totally outside the match, which works for healing, but doesn't work when you're trying to bring that utility level.
Well, one way to get rid of Edgem is just to overpower him away. I also need to see the Drogoz Tuga get a little bit more involved. If the Dragon Punch is down, or when it's been down, he's been good for some salvos, just like that one, and that's a great start.
The Throner gets capped from the backside. Big damage from Tuga combined with the long-range shot of Leon. Great combination there. Wake up Amadeus. We'll see how well this one goes out. Can you play like Mozart? Teammates certainly can. Ice Monkey positioned on the point, ready to go. Neil, says Leon, and that'll line up Ice Monkey for another double kill. The spot remains FiveStack's. Overtime is over, and that's the point for the red team. It's 1-2.
And I look at the ultimates for Hype Unit. They still have a couple on board. The Ice Storm was never used. Seismic Crash, granted, the Throner was bullied out of this game. The salvo from Tuga, the moment I said Drogoz needs to be a little more involved, he immediately got more involved. A great salvo forces the front line out, and the ultimates just were never able to get used.
And I love the way he chose to do so. Didn't just dive in there and get it done. Leaned on his teammate, Leon, the combination to find that kill. FiveStack already almost halfway there, but Hype Unit able to kind of push back and find FiveStack on the reverse end. Great angle here for Edgem. Nobody knows he's here. Finding a couple of pot shots, and this is where Hype Unit's doing it, Dave.
Yeah.
They're just finding these little pockets and little moments of disruption, and that's all you really need to do in these anti-push phases.
And this is a great spot to stop things off. You can't use your ultimates in the mid, or you didn't rather. This is a great spot to do it, especially on Bright Marsh. If you're able to kind of draw the line in the sand here, I think Hype Unit have a great composition with the Eevee, as well as some of that great damage out of Edgem on the Cassie when he's alive. If Hype Unit are able to hold this area, I don't see this payload moving too much further forward.
The Throner here trying to push. FiveStacks have not been able to move forward. In fact, they've been moving backward. FiveStack got about 45% of the way there and have been pushed all the way back to about a quarter. Tuga trying to provide some pressure, open up the map. 50 seconds to go here, Dave, and Hype Unit have absolutely, to say they have taken control of this part is kind of putting it lightly. FiveStack have not been able to even find their footing.
Yeah, Hype Unit are on defense right now. I think it's worth mentioning, and they have FiveStack entirely pushed back into their base. There's always the threat of a backdoor when your team is pushed this far forward, but the only person really that would do it is maybe a Drogos in this case.
And it's why I love this fallback. Hype Unit are like, okay, I'm in your base, killing your dudes, I'm doing the thing, I've been obnoxious, but I will fall back and kind of play responsibly here. And the reason they fall back now is because the amount of time left in the round is nigh impossible. You play some overtime and you can get it done, but real talk, FiveStack, 5 seconds. Not sure it's going to be enough here, Dave. Hype Unit looking to choke this one out, and they do just that. Overtime will give a brief reprieve, but I think this one's wrapped up.
There's a couple kills starting to roll from FiveStack, though. You have to be careful if you're going to get staggered out this heavily. Pan now caught in a bad spot where he's way behind FiveStack. This could cause trouble for them at the beginning of this next fight. Maybe an Ice Storm from the backside. Hype Unit are going to be respawning up on that high ground.
This is huge.
Look for this engagement.
FiveStack have all of their ultimates up as well, and if this is the time to use it, if I'm going to be honest with you, don't save it till next round, I say. You've got a whole bunch of options. Hype Unit now trying to push up, but they're on the outskirts. FiveStack now pushing and finding Ash. Big damage on top. Ash gonna have to respond by finding the other side. Exit via right. Eevee flanking around the left other option. FiveStack are slowly on the porch. There's the push, there's a kill. One more push, and they'll be able to find it, but Hype Unit return. Backside flank from Payan. Somebody take care of this Eevee, and it's Eevee that's taking care of them. Hype Unit defends successfully and put number 3 in their pocket.
Payan with the longest flank, I think, in Paladins history. He was hanging out on the mid where the point spawns in this next round, basically that entire time. And then finally the fight starts to roll. Payan blinks himself in, puts himself in a good spot. And those were tense moments from Hype Unit. They lost both of their frontliners super early on in that fight.
Right.
FiveStack were playing so well. They burned the Dome Shield, the Dread Serpent as well. So I think you're right. I mean, that's a moment where if you maybe, I think for them, they used the Dome Shield, they used the Dread Serpent, and that's all they were willing to sacrifice. They still have the Enlightenment, Overpower, and Dragon Punch, so some good, honestly, execute ultimates on their side. Hype Unit, though, have 4. You can throw an asterisk on Scout. That's just some vision. But some good CC, some good team fighting still available between Ice Storm and Flame and Assert Dominance.
If you are rooting for FiveStack, positive signs. The target prioritization was perfect. It was really find the Throner, put him down. The Sonara's been a big thorn in our side. The Throner has been driving this Hype Unit game, in all honesty. He's been allowing the DPS to do their job. So FiveStack identify, isolate, and ignite that player. But the follow-up was the fact that Eevee was flanking Calavera style the entire other side of the map. No one had a beat on her. And now Hype Unit unceremoniously looking to take the last cap.
No, the wall.
Tuga!
He tried to Throner threw up that wall and made him go the long way around.
You shall
salvo,
not pass.
That might just do it there. Payan gets a couple pot shots off, but a good zone from Hype Unit might just seal it up.
It's going to be the rough stuff there. Last point was a little bit better contested here by FiveStack. This one all the way Hype Unit. And they're going to be able to take the victory. It's 1-0.
That's the way to seal things up there. Small moment there towards the end I thought was very funny. Didn't have the biggest impact on the game, but they stuck Edgem on the point to continue capping them. They let Dethroner on the Inara move forward and just start dismounting everyone like the Inara instead of the Cassie moved up. He's just playing confidently. I mean, he is one of the best frontliners in the minor league. I mean, obviously, PPL caliber talent. And makes so much use of the full rotation of the kit that Inara has to offer.
Let's take a look at the numbers here. FiveStack, as I said, FiveStack, as I said, able to kind of make some of these moves. And I'm looking at Amadeus and Tuga. They really have the higher player damage numbers, and you can see Hype Unit have the lower player damage numbers. Wake Me Up Amadeus and Tuga were really just trying to provide this space and provide the outside damage. Hype Unit were the ones that were able to actually infiltrate, sit down on the point, and get it done.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is on the back end of a generically better team fight from Hype Unit. I mean, Inflame is basically a win-all go button. Once you hit that, everyone around you is faster, does a little bit more damage, all that fun stuff. So anything you combine with that is just better. I mean, FiveStack were on the back foot. They were doing a lot of poking the entire time. So maybe inflated damage numbers, but if you look at just pure team fighting, what Hype Unit were able to bring was just that much better.
T-Mac was able to kind of amp everybody up, but Pan was already at that level. He was able to find these flanks here from the backside, able to show up. This was the very first point where FiveStack kind of earned this spot, and Pan just said, no, we don't play that way. Hype Unit scores first. Later on in the match, this is what we were talking about, the big, I called it the Calavera play, just coming all the way on the backside. Nobody had any idea what Pan was doing, and what he was doing was disassembling the entirety of the team. FiveStack couldn't keep up.
It's always the threat. I mean, Drogos on the opposite side technically fills that same role in that it's a high-flying blaster, if you will, but the execute threat of Pan on an Eevee was just way too much for FiveStack. The blink in, chunk you all the way down, blink out, and every once in a while you'll see him play aggressive where he'll blink in and then just hang out for a minute, shoot a couple more shots, get a couple more kills, and then take myself out.
People always look at Maeve to be kind of that traditional rogue type sense, like I'm going to stealth and backstab you. It's Eevee for me. There's no invisibility, but she blinks in, you can't really see it. She gets it done. Payan does it for the team. 1-0 Hype Unit. We'll be back after this.
Paladins Minor League is brought to you by Evil Mojo Games, developers of Paladins.
Welcome back, guys, to the PML. Hype Unit taking it 1-0 against FiveStack Esports in that case. Of course, we were just playing on Bright Marsh. They all had very, very good games. The slash lines weren't too bad for FiveStack Esports, but of course, Hype Unit was just all too strong.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that maybe I wanted a Maeve over an Eevee there, but I mean, if Pan's going to play like that, give him Eevee all day, every day. That was some SK Worlds qualifiers Eevee play from Pan, and hopefully we can see that coming out too from them. FiveStack have a little bit of time to adapt. Drogo's got some good damage, but I don't think it found exactly what they wanted. Good wall kind of to zone him out and try to come into the objective and stop things. I think that led to the end of the game. But FiveStack, well, I want to see where they're going to go because it is their pick, and they have to find something out fast.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where they're going to go in this game 2 situation right here. Of course, we are looking at Jack falls immediately. Now, here's what's interesting to me is what's up?
I know, Hype 4 went Hype.
Oh.
on Bright Marsh, that's why I was laughing at that. But yeah, Jag's flat, a kind of a similar style, which to me says they're confident in how they played, but I feel like they just need to change one or two things about it because small differences. The high ground isn't as crucial on the mid fight. You can kind of avoid it by playing inside. Can't really do that as well on Bright Marsh, at least not in a way that affects the objective at all.
Right, exactly. I mean, of course, see the first few bans coming out here. Hype Unit really wants to get rid of Willow, Eevee being gone, Drogo's being gone. Now, this is interesting because we don't see any frontline prioritization. Now, this is what's more interesting. Torvald's gone. That's the front liner they opted to go with. Of course, Makoa is open, but you know what that means. Atlas is in play. If they opt to go for the Makoa first, of course, we're going to see an Atlas in return.
This is the pay and hate draft. I mean, this is them specifically doing this to try to shut down Pain. And I'm surprised they're not picking his character now to kind of dig into the pool, but Atlas Fury, a very lethal combination. I mean, beyond the Veil speed on an Atlas combined with the speed and damage from an Inflame, that's brutal. Atlas does so much damage already, making it higher is just, it's almost not fair.
Right, exactly. I mean, coming into this matchup, of course, you have to be able to at least try and have some sort of counterplay. You have the Makoa, you have, of course, the sustainability he has. And with the Cassie, with the Barrack, of course, you have a staying power with the Barrack, with the shielding, of course, the boots it is that he has. When he uses those, he'll be able to maneuver a little bit. Nothing too crazy, though. Of course, Cassie is an option as well. Subjects. They obviously picked her, Bomb King, and an army picked as well.
The Cassie's going to be really good, especially if they do end up locking this in Nara. Atlas and Nara is like one of the better comps to play Cassie into. Big Game does not get cleansed by second chance. So if you disengage an Atlas and then he immediately uses second chance, you still get your mark on him for the full duration. Still really solid into him. Any strong backline is kind of tough for Atlas to cross the gap for. BK being picked by them too, that's going to be interesting to see how they play it, because they're going to have to play inside, but I feel like that Atlas kind of wants to force the issue.
Right, exactly. I mean, they picked the Pip, they picked the Genos. Of course, that Luminary buff is going to play a very, very hard role, but of course, the Bomb King, going back to what it was that you were mentioning before, is that you don't see him as often because of how much multi-purpose that Willow has now, and a lot of other DPSs. Of course, we're seeing the rise of Strix, rise of a few other individuals. They lock in the Leon as well, probably to deal with that Pip. I mean, having the auto-lock abilities, being able to hit those high mobility targets is going to be a lot easier for her. Also being able to burn down Barrett, being able to burn down Makoa is going to play a big role. But quick answer, whose team do you like better?
Honestly, I think FiveStack's draft is kind of monstrous.
Okay, yeah.
Genos with Cassie and Pip, Makoa, I think it's hard to side against that on Jaguar Falls.
Well, you heard it here first from the Omega Brain Kresnik and me, P-Brain Fawn, going to pass it off to our commentators.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Game 2 about to kick off here. Hype Unit. Tom, what a start to their set here. 4-1, and that one, left something there. I guess 4-2 left something to be desired. I still think from FiveStack.
Are we playing?
Where are we playing?
Do you know where we're playing?
No, I didn't catch the name.
Jaguar Falls. Oh, this is where they make cologne. The new scent fragrance from Evil Mojo, Jaguar Falls. Payan gonna be wearing it today on the Bomb King.
What was that in Anchorman? That 50% of the time wasn't it Jaguar? No, it was like Panther something. Oh, never mind. All right, I remember the name. We're moving on from that one. I remember it. It's not Jaguar. It's something Panther. Yeah, I like Bomb King on this map though. I think it works. I think the Bomb King in these small side rooms can really start to flourish. Also notably, Atlas and Makoa coming through, not something we are so often used to seeing.
I do like to see one on each side.
Yes.
I think it's very cool to say, all right, so listen, there are two very strong characters. You get one, I get one, let's see what goes on. Personally, I think Atlas impacts the game in a much larger way than Makoa. Makoa's going to get that grab for sure. It can totally impact stuff, but it's deal withable, as I make up my own words. Atlas, on the other hand, the wall, man, you've got to change the way you approach. And with Jaguar Falls specifically, I think it cuts off so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's allowed Hype Unit to be in the spot that they're in, where they're at 99%. And look at this. You're so often, they're not used to seeing a frontliner playing aggressively and trying to out-duel a Cassie, especially a big game Cassie. And Atlas feels just fine to do that. So I agree. I think they're both in a good spot. Makoa, somewhat dependent on hitting those hooks. You move yourself forward, you put yourself in a bad spot in hopes of putting the enemy in a worse spot. But if you miss your hook, you're out on an island.
Here's the deal. I think that Makoa is a great character to kind of play when you are on the point or when you are at parity trying to play this neutral setup, this neutral game. But I think he does a poor job trying to assault a point, right? Yeah. Whereas across the way, Atlas,
he needs the cooldown rotation on Makoa is so important. If you have Ancient Rage, then you can assault a little bit better off. But if you have Atlas minus any cooldowns, I like his chances a little bit better to poke out.
Yeah, like you said, rare is the occasion that you see the front line just running at Cassie, but he can just moonwalk back, no problem, just like that, and that's really what you're looking for out of the Atlas, which makes him so impressively aggressive in ways that other frontline beef tanks can't do. So with that said, Hype Unit are able to kind of just grab the point very, very just charismatically. They walk up and they say, "Are these the droids we're looking for?" And FiveStack says, "Yes, please, sir. Take the point and push it all the way home." 2 for Hype Unit.
Zero has had a tough start to this game on Makoa. I mean, such a microscope gets put on any of those frontliners, those hybrid off tanks, when they're able to come out, because we're so not used to seeing them. Zero at 0-3 has had a real rough go of things towards the end there. And you're seeing how Hype Unit are playing as a team, where Zero rolls in, tries to engage on the right-hand side of Hype Unit, and Payan says, all right, I don't need like a huge, massive team stun with my ult. I'm just going to King Bomb singular onto Zero, lock him up, and then we'll win the engagement on the back end of it. And that's where Makoa does not really succeed.
I love Hype Unit's confidence here. That's really what it is like you said, not saving the King Bomb for this giant moment, having faith and trust in your own shots and your own teammates' killability, for you to just go in, toss the super for one shot, get the bad guy, and then just push forward going, hey man, you're gonna hit your stuff. Let's just go lean on the left click and get it done. FiveStack actually gonna take control of the point right now, 30 to 15%, and climbing from blue team. Everybody's kind of fighting outside. Hype Unit are well aware, and they're generally fine with this. And this is where the Makoa is going to come in strong. Just sitting on the point, even outside the point, and just making sure that Hype Unit can't infiltrate.
That shows you how important having the ultimate up on the Makoa is. Because if he didn't have Ancient Rage there, it would have been what happened the first time around, where he was trying to, do the tango with these guys on the backside. Nice hook, pulls Edgem in, gets the kill for Ice Monkey. But so important for Makoa to have those cooldowns up, because without them, I mean, you just have a big old cannon that doesn't really do all that much for you.
See, that's the thing. What we saw before with Atlas taking control of the first point, he's able to just walk up, fire some shots, get in trouble, rewind. Ancient Rage is the ultimate. It only allows him to do that when the ultimate's up for Makoa. So if that's available, Makoa kind of skyrockets. But without that available, it becomes kind of an issue. Now trying to push forward, the blue team aiming to tie up. But Hype Unit has done a great job at this particular choke point to keep players at bay. Now pushing FiveStack even back.
Yeah, and Hype Unit are going to feel very comfortable kind of in this mid. I love seeing it. It was a brief moment, but kind of on that defensive retake attempt. Nice double kill for Payan here to really force back FiveStack. Make it 3 now for the Bomb King as FiveStack fully pushed back. But the Inflame, look for that combination moving forward in this game. Inflame hits, that's when Payan goes into the King Bomb, because he gets that move speed boost, and it's literally impossible to dodge. You just see this giant bomb rolling towards you, and it's a fun interaction to watch. Works out so well for Hype Unit, and that puts them here, the line, all the way back in FiveStack space.
That's the beauty of having the Furia available there to kind of go for it. Nice long-range shot. It's kind of like backside is the target here. And Leon, one shot away, will take care of it. But Ice Monkey able to provide some nice front push, and it's important to really get out there. You're trying to regain control of the push card, but not going to be the case. It's still trailing. It's FiveStack.
Up top, they found a pretty decent Evil Mojo, but then Pip just kind of stayed too long on that upper balcony, and Edgem, that's like Christmas morning. That is a free gift. Nice shots to the back of Leon as Tuga finds himself a kill. But Edgem was able to trade out so effectively, not missing a single ability, not missing a single cooldown. And I think they're privy to this, but nobody's killing him off. This is a full rotation from FiveStack pushing in. Hype Unit are going to have to fight back in. It's only Edgem who has no health. The backdoor attempt is known, but they're kind of in reverse spots.
Payan doing a great job of finding the targets and providing the damage. 7 streak for Payan on the big boy. 11 when all said and done. That'll be point number 3 for Hype Unit.
I mean, the thought is there on the rotation attempt. It gets things moving, but then you kind of set yourself up for a pinch. You got Edgem on one side, the rest of the team on the other. The movement on Bomb King, he's not a particularly mobile. I mean, he is with Poppy Bomb, and that the basis of his mobility is Poppy Bomb. So watching a good player use that to its fullest ability is certainly a treat, and Payan's definitely one of those. An aggressive Poppy Bomb, a defensive Poppy Bomb. I mean, fighting around that is really the core of Bomb King's kit. And Payan's one of the best to do it at 10-2 and 9, certainly leaving his mark on this one.
A very unique character. You know, when you switch from Victor to Furia to Tyra, listen, there are intricacies in the class, but obviously a shooter. Right. Bomb King, very, very different. And so to be able to kind of utilize him and some of the other cast is always very impressive. Leaking around the back is going to be Atlas as Dethroner takes care of the top, or excuse me, gets taken care of by Zero in that Ancient Rage. Bomb King thinking about the left side, but once again, FiveStack find themselves on the point. Hype Unit, with all of their hype, have yet to find the spot.
And FiveStack have used all of their ultimates, still some to work with for Hype Unit. Losing Payan, though, early on does not bode well for this fight.
No, I don't think it's going to be a nice look. Edgem able to take down Amadeus and immediately get traded out by Tuga. Cassie this time around. Control of the point, give it a Hype Unit. They've barged in and busted down the doors. Everybody else on the outside looking in. Tuga falls down. And we're at 69%. Hype Unit continuing to push here. FiveStack. How do they find a way in? Pimp on the left side, but they don't have an entryway.
Yeah, I mean, an Evil Mojo is one way to do it, but you can't follow up on any of the kills. They're not able to get the touch. The rocket boots just short of that mid. Things were tumultuous there for just a moment. A beautiful double stun on the seismic crash by Dethroner towards the end there on the Inara really sealed that one up. And then you saw some of that Atlas pressure where he throws up the wall, and you know they can't shoot through it.
Right.
But me and my team can, and Dethroner is able to hit some of those long range shots on Inara, make good on that double stun, seals it up with a nice bow.
A much different spin on this one. We get to see some of the heavy hitters, Makoa and Atlas, coming out at the end of the day. It might not be those guys that take control of the spotlight. I'm looking at the damage dealers. Tuga and Amadeus, I know Pip is kind of half and half, but Amadeus was able to provide a little bit of damage for FiveStack to find those points that they did, because this was a much better game than game number 1, but ultimately it comes down to Hype Unit, and this time, last game, I commended the tanks. I looked at the front line. I'm looking at the back line, specifically Payan. Great work by him.
Yeah, Payan, 12-3 and 11. Huge performance. Got to give a nod to T-Mac as well, though, 5-1 and 16. And while we're talking about damage, I noticed just previously, I think it was only Tuga was above most of the team, maybe except for T-Mac on Hype Unit. Dethroner, notably, I think ended up at the second or the third or fourth highest damage in the game on Inara, which is pretty nuts here in this case. But you're right. I think the area control from the Bomb King is so important, especially on this map. It's all about these little small side rooms and some of the extension beyond that. And Payan is so good at making use of the full rotation of Bomb King's kit. It's such a fun team fight to watch. And Flame comes out. I'm going to go into the King Bomb. I'm going to find myself a couple of stuns, and then I'm going to Poppy Bomb myself in for a nice double kill. And this is, you know, tumultuous, back and forth. He doesn't play that aggressively. Not quite as clear for Hype Unit there towards the end.
Yeah, a little bit rough there for the players that want to hit the brakes, because this one was brought to you by the gas pedal. Atlas going in and just making it known in the beginning, and then Bomb King just repeatedly in. Poppy Bomb always going towards the opposition. Rare did we see the eject or the exit signal. It was all in for Hype Unit, and because of that, they were able to take it. We're up 2 games to none. A great look here for Hype.
Yeah, FiveStack now need to just find something to hang their hat on. I mean, they've had a couple of points throughout these games, but it's just been better team play from Hype Unit, top to bottom.
Bring it home, man. I got to straighten up my tie. FiveStack got to straighten up the gameplay. We'll be right back.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins minor league.
Welcome back to the Paladins minor league, guys. Of course, if you weren't just watching that match, excuse me, Hype Unit currently is up 2-0 against FiveStack Esports. They've done a really phenomenal job at controlling space and just being able to shut down FiveStack really, really where it hurts. And I mean, like that last game, the slash lines were looking rough, Kresnik. They were looking rough.
I gave FiveStack the edge going into that one, but I don't know. The coordination from Hype Unit, it's really tough for them to deal with.
Right.
Their ults were connecting a lot. We saw a good King Bomb and Flame combo to 100-0 Barrack at one point. Hype Unit's really firing on all cylinders. They shut down Zero so hard in the Makoa, too.
Right. I mean, they really, really did. I mean, the Bomb King ended up turning out to be better than what you probably would have expected it to end up being. In this case, it's really just a matter of positioning. The Bomb King was able to shut out a lot of those choke points that Jaguar Falls really has. A lot of those smaller areas, those rooms. Grumpy Bomb covers up a lot of space in general. However, that's all said and done. I'm going to talk about the maps now because I believe that we have maps coming into Game 3. Hype Unit could potentially close this out. Serpent Beach is the map that they're opting to go for, and they could very well end on.
Interesting that FiveStack kind of keep choosing to go to these standard maps. You think maybe they'd take them something a little more off the beaten path, kind of catch them out that way, but kind of keeping it standard. Serpent Beach, I would say, almost at the same level of Bright and Jag for at least how often we see it, how much these teams kind of like to play it.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, Serpent Beach, once again, a map it is that you will see probably not as often as you would Bright Marsh, probably not as often as you see Jag, Stone Keep, some of these others. But of course it is there. Most of the time it is people normally try and ban it. They opt to go for the ban here. Speaking of ban, Strix ban. Now that's interesting. They feel like they would actually try and go for the Strix there, but can't really talk too much about it. Of course, we have seen Strix around the PPL. Like you said before, Kresnik, I believe we were talking about it earlier in the set. A lot of the new meta, or at least what people are picking, hasn't really trickled down to PML yet.
This is definitely, I mean, it's definitely showing that it's at least somewhat with Hype Unit trying to ban it out. I like how FiveStack are at least adapting to what Hype are bringing. I mean, banning Furia, first picking Eevee, that's not something you see every day, and it seems very specific to what they think was causing them trouble. I think maybe they could have tried to go more direct damage route, but after Cassie, Leon, yes, there's other things that Edge can play, but I think those are the two biggest players. And Pain has already, I mean, you banned Drogo's Willow,
right?
And he still ended up playing Bomb King, who kind of isn't super meta right now. So interesting to see where their priorities lie in the ban phase.
Well, in this case, they actually are opting to go for the Leon pick. They're going for the Anara pick as well. Anara, of course, Mother Earth herself being able to have that staying point presence that a lot of people wish they could have, especially if you are playing as a point take. Barrack already locked in on Hype Unit side, as well as the Genos Luminary buff going to play a huge role. Khan, Maeve also being picked. Now, that's what's interesting to me is that, of course, the Maeve is there. She'll be able to get around that wall. She'll be able to maneuver in a lot of ways that you can see Eevee can, where she's being able to blink in here, blink in how, or at least you'll think that a Maeve's blinking in and blinking out with how fast it is that she's actually using. Yeah, it definitely feels like it with how fast it is she's prowling now. I'm really interested to see how that's going to play into this upcoming matchup, though.
The Maeve pressure, I think it's going to be a lot on that 1v1 on this side between the Maeve and the Eevee.
Yeah,
I would definitely give the advantage to Pain, I would say, in this matchup. I mean, partially because of the ping, but just also his experience, the quality of play he's already shown this set. I would definitely give the edge to him on that. Maybe I could see them kiting away, trying to bait Pain into playing more on the side and then getting a little bit more aggressive onto their face. Kinessa actually coming out here, so banning Strix, getting the other sniper. Kinessa used to be the only sniper we saw on this map because of her ability to teleport from the low ground to the high ground. Even with Strix coming back and forth with that ban, I guess they still want someone to fill that slot.
Right, exactly. I mean, clearly they very clearly want at least a sniper or somebody to deal with really those long-range targets. Of course, she'll probably be sitting up, posted, probably in high ground or wherever it is she's so pleased. However, Hype Unit is up 2-0 against FiveStack Esports. This is it. This could be the last game. Take us into it, casters.
Game number 3 here for Hype Unit versus FiveStack. Getting in position. Kinessa being last picked. I'm a big Kinessa fan. OG sniper coming up. Serpent Beach.
Yeah.
The Strix being banned out leaves Kinessa as the long-range choice here. As we jump onto the beach, where are you looking? Who's going to have to deal with Edgem?
That's tough. I mean, what they have on the opposite side is a nice triple DPS composition, but it also is a quad, which means that means they have a quad squishy composition. Right. So I mean, in reality, it is either Leon or Cassie out-poking Edgem on this Kinessa, or Eevee being able to dive in. The problem is Kinessa has a Genos mark a good bit of the time, I will assume, And a headshot onto anybody but Inara will effectively eliminate their health pool. Might not be a full-on one-shot kill, but they will be out of the fight almost entirely.
I think that's why we see the Kinessa pick at all, but ultimately it's Payan that gets up close and personal and finds the first blood. Long-range shots coming out from Kinessa, locking down that sort of western side of the point. The other side, the eastern side point, kind of being dealt with by everybody else. Payan being the large culprit, throwing those knives out in melee range.
And look, FiveStack's just scared. I mean, nobody is trying to open themselves up. That's how you deal with the Kinessa, though. The quick ability rotation out of the Leon is enough to force Edgem back. But he's got the Genos mark this entire time. Now Ice Monkey's going down. They have nobody else to contest. Good flank, though, from Tuga. Drops off Edgem.
That's who I was going to look towards the Eevee, but if Cassie's able to make the long range rotations and find the flank, that's certainly a good look. Hype Unit controlled 90% of this point. But FiveStack now trying to wrestle control here. One member of their team on it. So FiveStack can kind of look for their own control here. Halfway down, pushing forward. Hype Unit outside.
Good daggers from Payan here, combined with a shot from Tay, is going to get rid of Zero. A lot of that dive now missing. Edgem free and clear to teleport inward. That's an aggressive play. Not expecting to find Amadeus around the corner, though. It's a one-for-one trade on the backside.
Meanwhile, point control being given back to Hype Unit. They've been able to push everybody off, and this is their point. Hype Unit, 1 point up in the pocket. Now looking to push forward. Easy play for Khan, taking down his Amadeus.
And you know, this is like and this is just the generic downfall of a triple DPS comp is if you lose your front line, then one of your four other squishies is going to have to get a touch on the point. And Ice Monkey's 0-2. I mean, he's been unable to stay alive under the duress of everyone else from Hype Unit. They have 3 singular kills, excuse me, to really hold on to this game. Ice Monkey's just not been able to stay alive. There hasn't been enough backline pressure from FiveStack to keep that front line for FiveStack alive.
You know, I hate the term risk versus reward because every decision is frankly risk versus reward.
You're not wrong.
But at the end of the day, it really comes down to the triple DPS it is a win more composition. If you find yourself in the position that you're able to grab the point and push off, well, the opponent's going to have a really hard time trying to break that bank.
Right.
Because you're out there with just like all this kind of front zone. There's one guy back at the point kind of taking a nap, and your job is we have more damage than you out front, so we can do that. But then if you're trying to claw your way out, Dave, that's where it really presents the problem. You just highlighted how tough it is to try to land your squishy on the point. And so this is what Hype Unit is able to take advantage of. That's why I love the last pick, Kinessa, because you're able to find these picks from a distance and able to take care of it. Because if Hype Unit is able to make the first punch, that much harder for FiveStack Esports to return fire.
Yeah, if you don't win quick, you know, Hype Unit's going to be able to slowly wear you down, even if you do have some squishies on your side. One volley of daggers away on 2 targets. Executing that in and out, side-to-side movement so well, and making the squishies of FiveStack pay.
Man, Payan on a 3 streak right now. We keep pushing. We're doing even more now. Tuga goes down to the hand of the tank. And it's 12 here. Close to death. But the Maeve has been doing all the dirty work. Still alive, by the way, as we switch to T-Mac on the other side. And the push is good. Halfway there to match point. Hype Unit 2-0.
Oh, guess who was dead first there? It was the Inara on the opposite side. They had no front line yet. I mean, Ice Monkey, I think of his 4 deaths, 1 was the initial mid-fight, 2nd was the retake attempt, 3rd was somewhere in the middle of that push, and then 4th was around the end. Obviously, there hasn't been much intermittent fighting, but the point being there's so much emphasis on the Inara dying because that's kind of it. I mean, if your team isn't winning on the backside, I mean, I can only say it so many different ways, but, you know, it's one thing if Ice Monkey dies, but, you know, Tuga's wrapping around the backside like we saw him do, trading out some kills, but it's been just a blank Ice Monkey dies, and nobody's getting traded out on the backside. Ineffective trading, not the greatest ultimate usage up to this point. Zero's had a tough time on this Eevee getting involved. You see Edgem on the Kinessa, Maeve as well, 13 streak, not dying just yet.
It's just easy understanding coming out from Hype Unit. They've got some veterans on here. You know, we mentioned some of the players that have been in the Premier League, most notably Dethroner and teammates. And that's just identification of going, all right, you know, you got this weird 3 DPS comp. It's not that weird to us. We've seen it. We've done it. We got a t-shirt. Let me show you folks how to take care of it. And this is what we do it. We're just going to work, clocking in, and making it known. Payan, can you play the Mave? Hey, Kinessa, we need to get some of that as well. Pop, pop. And FiveStack are looking like a short stack here. Hype Unit have just had control of this one. And it's very interesting because you're watching FiveStack grab the point at first,
right,
and then Hype Unit retake. But that's kind of how this is drawn up. That triple DPS, if you fight it head on, apply directly to the forehead, you're going to wind up on the bad side of things with a big old headache. You got to wait for them, find the flank, play intelligently.
Yeah.
Play smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I mean, because they really have just been sticking Ice Monkey on the point right off the bat, which is fine. That's where you want Nanara. But it's been left out too much on an island. I agree.
Yeah.
They need to find a different maybe aspect to try to take this mid. Payan for the first time, not being able to land that final volley of daggers. Tay has just made his home up on the high ground here. Finally, some good shots from Zero. Put FiveStack at 97%.
That said, Unit still on the outside. T-Mac lining one up and getting lined up himself. Down goes the Genos player. Wake me up at Amadeus. Able to play the concerto that pulls him away. Overtime is done. And FiveStack are able to get themselves on the board. A nice look here for the blue team. It's 2-1.
They were finally doing the opposite of what they hadn't been doing, where sure all the focus is going to be on Ice Monkey, but we're going to effectively trade in the meantime. Zero was able to finally get involved in one of these mids, add a couple of kills for himself, outplaying Payan honestly in a couple of those dagger shots. Drops the Midnight here, doesn't find much. The Scout notably, that's a funny interaction, where on the opposite side they save Scout on Cassie for the Midnight because those counter one another out. At least silhouettes, you'll see that through the Midnight. Payan was in behind, is able to get out alive. But honestly, just better play in general, hitting their shots, finding some flanks that were working out. Early on in this game, you saw Tuga wrap around the backside, find some kills. That worked for FiveStack. That died out a little bit towards the middle of that game. But now they have a big challenge of moving their way forward. Plenty of mobility, though, to take that high ground. Or one champion with mobility to take that high ground.
FiveStack still pushing here and successfully doing so. Hype Unit able to stop them, but however fleeting it may be, FiveStack has had good control of their push cart up to this point so far. Really enjoying the kind of turnaround because this has been all hype all day. 2-0 in the big picture, one away from taking it and closing it out and bringing us to a match 4. So FiveStack have their backs against the wall, and this is when they're actually performing. But call me the old commentator curse, because as soon as they bring up the success, Hype Unit coming in, and it's really just wave to wave and making sure they, being Hype Unit, not to get staggered.
Right.
They do find some deaths. They want to team up and die kind of together, but really it's the avoidance of it all and just a steady push backwards.
That's a beautiful Ice Storm. Locks up Payan.
That's
Edgem, though,
huge.
right there to answer things back.
That's huge.
One of the frontliners drops off. Hype Unit, bad spot now.
Big plays. Ice Monkey is up in front, exactly where he needs to be. 2 steps away from taking it, and there it is. We're tied at 2. FiveStack, the most active they have been all day, and you gotta love it. Dave, I pose to you the just black and white question: is it the comp?
Yes, I mean, I think there's definitely part of it is. I think they're playing it better because triple DPS absolutely works in the right environment. Towards the end of that round, despite being, second damage in the game, Edgem had a much harder time being as involved as he was at the beginning of the last couple of rounds, where the only thing that was able to drop off that Kinessa was a Cassie flank, but then Cassie's now in an awkward spot, so they were finding some poke damage, finding some flanks from Zero that forced Edgem back, and they were just starting to win some trades against Payan because I think it was, a 13 streak for the Mave towards the end of the first 2 points.
At some point, it's, fool me twice, right?
So things just starting to look better for FiveStack, just generic team play-wise. Ice Monkey drops off first, though. This is the story that they did not want to read. Now for a third time, firmly in control here is Hype Unit with 63%.
Going all the way up. FiveStack on the outside looking in. A very casual point control here for Hype Unit, and this will likely be just seated. You like that one, huh?
Well, Ice Monkey just wants to play the game, so he dies right off the bat, and then immediately walks back into the fight and gets overpowered away. Barring a miraculous turnaround here, I think this is Hype Unit's to lose. But you do have 4 Squishies now trying to retake. Zero finds a kill onto the healer, which may pull things back.
Yeah, I think this is where it gets harder for FiveStack Esports. They are able to kind of just throw wave after wave of FiveStack players at this point. Staggered deaths are actually helping FiveStack in this game, because they're able to just continuously, as I said, just throw corpses at the point and keep Hype Unit at bay. Now, they're actually taking control of it. Hype Unit has actually suffered to this repetitive style of play, but with Inara down, that's going to be Hype Unit's point. And they're 1 away from bringing it home. Do they bring it home in the push, or do FiveStack defend this and we wait till next round?
You know, that's hard to say. If I'm taking tally of these ultimates, FiveStack are going to have them up sooner, but it's so early on in this round where Hype Unit are just going to have them, you know, 30, 45 seconds later.
Oh, lovely play.
So it depends. If Pan was able to hit those daggers, I'm feeling very confident on the offensive push all of a sudden. And you see Edgem all the way back trying to find some shots. It's this first wave of ultimates because Hype Unit will feel comfortable in the right scenario to just start to throw those out. FiveStack are going to have to throw those out, whether or not they're comfortable, to avoid this payload from going through. So I think FiveStack has a good chance on the defense, but it may cost them a lot of that ultimate advantage going into the next mid.
Lucho falls down. Edgem still relevant.
Yep.
A lot of times we were talking about these flanks kind of finding that sniper over and over again. The Kinessa making the rounds in the late game very important here for Hype Unit. Kinessa just gets outright countered or flanked on. There isn't really hope for the sniper to do the job. Right now doing just that. Halfway through his Hype Unit. FiveStack very spread here, looking for individual picks.
That's what Zero needs to find. And Edgem still hanging all the way back. Missed overpower. Unfortunate for Tay there, goes down to 30%, so it will be recharging at least slightly faster. Pan finds the pick, though. Another snipe from T-Mac. Suddenly, FiveStack only have 3 members left.
And this is a great look for Hype Unit. They are being contested. Ice Monkey doing a great job of kind of sticking his heels in the mud. This is exactly the job that Inara needs to do. However, Payan from the backside, going ahead, shoving those daggers right in the back of the neck, able to take advantage, putting down the tank. Inara just now respawning. And all that time, Hype Unit been pushing forward. It's going to be a close one on the door so far. FiveStack trying to play defense. It's going to be tough here, Dave. Inara doing a good job with the wall, but that might be it. Everybody else trying to play offense on FiveStack. They're trying to find it by way of damage, and I just don't think it's coming. Hype Unit on the front, and they'll take it 3-0 the whole dang match.
So I'm going to amend my previous answer. I think Hype Unit are going to push it in and win.
Well, there you go. You're always right all the time, Dave.
That's right. The ultimates started to come up. FiveStack, there was that one sweep where all of them got staggered. It was a beautiful stagger too.
Right.
It was 15 seconds on a couple of guys. It was like a 5-second kind of cascade down the line. Just good or bad depending on where you're at. But then Pan with the aggressive zone throws out some daggers, doesn't allow FiveStack back into the game at all. And that was just a bit of mispositioning. They lose one too many members. T-Mac huge through time and space to eliminate one extra member of FiveStack there. That's just cohesion. That's what you get with Hype Unit.
Edgem on the Kinessa doing 6 digits of damage, and that again is pretty much when you're picking the Kinessa here, strict spanned out, it's your game to play. It's up to FiveStack to kind of stop that.
Right.
We saw it earlier. Tuga was able to make it happen once or twice, but honestly, I think this was Zero's job that he kind of dropped, unfortunately. Evie is the sniper hunter. That's the job.
Right.
Unfortunately, Evie was able to provide some help for the team, but not the role that I think she was kind of asked to fulfill here.
Right.
And although that damage came through, it wasn't on the correct target or the specific target, and Edgem able to provide so much long-range damage that a lot of times Payan didn't have to 100-0 players because they were already getting dinked from a mile away.
Right. I mean, top damage in the game, especially on a sniper, especially when there's technically less health pool worth of damage to be done when you have one strong frontliner but then 4 squishies. Being able to do that much damage is so much more impactful.
Talking a lot about the DPS, but what about the front line? Tay able to come out here and just do it to him, man. He's up top, he's on the bottom. We saw a missed overpower. That wasn't his greatest moment, but everything here, this is this entire left side of the point being taken over by a single player. That's an incredible amount of space created. That's exactly, talking about doing your job. Tay did exactly what he was signed up to do, opened it up. You don't see anybody else on the map on his team. You know why? They're on the point getting it done.
Yeah, look at this flank. This is that final endgame push. The snipe came in, he followed it up, finished that final kill, and then in the top left there you see 10 seconds, 5 seconds, just respawning. I mean, the stagger was so heavy, and you're absolutely right, and that's an awkward spot to be. Into a triple DPS, playing off tank, playing tank, because in general there's just more damage being returned on you. He didn't flinch once. He wrapped around the backside, played aggressively, held himself the left mouse button down, and won it for his team.
When you're playing those off tanks, it's important to know when to shift down, when to shift up. Here, we see Tay come through, shift up, all aggression, baby. We're going to shift back. We've got one more match. Stay tuned. The Paladins Minor League.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins Minor League.